Good morning and welcome to Mindset Monday. And today's topic is, what are you chasing? And the overarching theme, if you will, for this is there's many different ways as a job seeker, as a leader, as an individual who's becoming a true impact player, that we fill our time. And this correlates and goes well with our 28-day challenge, which is centered around removing bad habits and filling them, of course, with quality, intentional habits. And so I'm going to ask the collective group a question, and that is, what are you actually chasing right now? And we talked about dreams, and we talked about this last week, about the ideas. You have to have big, powerful dreams for yourself. But I really want you to think about that question. What are you actually chasing right now? Not what you want to say, not what sounds good, not what you hope for, but what really your calendar, your habits, and your energy really prove. Because there's the uncomfortable truth for any job seeker, leader, individual pushing themselves further is you can be extremely busy, but yet still be very stuck. You can be exhausted from a really long week and not move forward. There are a lot of people who are running very, very, very hard, but they're just running in a circle. And if we're not careful, then we end up in an interesting perspective of life. And that is that life is like mist. Life moves extremely fast. Careers move fast. Seasons of life change extremely fast. One day you're planning, the next thing you know, the months are gone. And most people don't lose years because of bad decisions. They lose years because of no decisions at all. People drift and react through life like the mist. They see it and they chase after it, and then it disappears. They're staying very busy and they call it progress. But life doesn't necessarily drift slowly. Just like mist, it explodes and then evaporates extremely quickly. So the question isn't, am I doing a lot? The real true question is, what am I doing actually moving me to where I want to go? Busyness can feel extremely productive. Progress is truly productive. Busyness is movement and momentum, but progress has direction. Busyness is a lot of noise, but progress creates clarity. And especially as a job seeker, as in leadership growth and development, and someone even who's in a career transition, we can get very confused and end up in a trap where we're looking at busyness and missing the progress. And so a good example of this that I'll give you would be scrolling for jobs for hours, looking at all the blind applies, as we like to talk about it with JSC, watching content instead of actually executing. I mean, you can get in the leadership trap of just consuming leadership content over and over and over again without putting anything to place, actually trying to develop others around you. Networking is a great example of this. If you're not following some form of a strategy like we have through warm networking or a network tree, then you're really just having conversations without true productivity and direction. And all of this will feel a lot like work. But if you notice nothing ever changes, it's not failure. Hard work is never failure, but it is truly a misalignment. And where I want everybody to shift their mindset going into this next week of the 28-day challenge is really around, you can chase all the business that you want, or you can shift your gaze and focus and chase after the progress. If you're constantly feeling yourself to being very reactive to things, well, then that's busyness. If you find yourself truly seeing yourself with a designed foundational plan, well, then that's progress. If you feel like your time is always filled and you're constantly struggling with life, then you're busy. But if you feel firm in the things that you're doing and you can clearly articulate your wins, well, then you're building towards progress. Progress is truly designed to build not just a future for you, but a firm foundation in that future. Most people don't struggle because they're lazy. People struggle because they don't have direction. They have all the effort in the world, and we see this a lot with individuals that come into our program, but they don't have a system. They put all the effort out there. They're constantly applying to new jobs. They're constantly tweaking and changing their resume. They're making a lot of movement, but they don't have that direction, that structure. And that's where potential is there, but there's no purpose. And potential is always a fun one for me because it's the unknown. It's what could be. And as someone who's a dreamer, potential can be extremely attractive. It can become very easy to lean into this space of potential. But purpose is really the most important part. You want to be a dreamer. You want to have a direction, but purpose is always directed back to what you're actually building. Potential makes you feel good, right? Having a big dream for yourself feels great, but purpose will cost you something. Potential feels safe, but purpose requires decisions and loss. And here's what I really want you to take from this that I think matters the most. Most of us live our lives, our whole lives, thinking about what we potentially could do, but very few people commit to what their purpose is. Purpose requires deep discipline. If you go back a few Mindset Mondays ago, we really talked about this as when you're in the game, when things get hard, when life is difficult, it's what you practice that shows up, not necessarily just momentum. And purpose requires saying no to some good things because it will lead you towards great things in the future. And that's very uncomfortable. It's a whole lot easier to fall back into uncomfortable bad habits instead of pushing yourself forward into uncomfortable, positive, purpose-driven habits. So when you think through how this all can come together for you as a job seeker, and if you're in our program, you already know this, then the 9 to 3 is a wonderful tool, but it's designed so you build it into your life. It's designed so that you can be purposeful in the actual direction that you're using it for. It's so that you can be strategic and you can align your habits to fit with the growth of what you're trying to achieve as a job seeker or as a leader or as an individual looking to adjust their lifestyle. It's extremely important that you don't redesign everything that you've been doing, but go back to the last couple mindsets. And we're very purposeful in picking out next habits to eliminate and fill with good habits. You're not adding more, you're not forcing more, you're not redesigning, you're truly utilizing reflection so that you can see the areas that have got to go. You utilize discovery to fill those open gaps in your schedule, in your intentions, in your direction in life with quality good habits, and that gives you an opportunity to, of course, execute. You eliminate just a lack of non-strategic motion and you fill it with direction and purpose, eliminating the noise, eliminating survival mode, and truly finding yourself moving forward. So the final ask is this, and this is the challenge. I don't want to ask this week, did you stay busy? I want you to ask yourself, did you move forward? Don't focus on if you did a lot, right? But did what you actually did it matter? Don't ask yourself, what do I feel like doing? What does your future require? What does your foundation require? What do your new habits require? Because if we're honest with ourselves, life is like a mist. And you don't get unlimited seasons to drift. You don't need more motivation. You just need a little more intention. And I think all of us can realize that we can all have a lot of activity. But what we really need is that pure alignment. And so I'll position it this way for everyone. If you feel like you're running in circles, if you feel like you don't have a grasp on exactly what you need to do next, then I would really highly recommend that not only do you get into some form of the community that you need, whether it's our community or another community, if you don't seek out a group of people who can push you, hold you accountable, and lead you towards the right practice, so that when things do get harder, when you are challenged, when things are in front of you, that you are leaning in to the right purposeful direction, not because you know that's the right thing to do because it feels comfortable. No, you're doing it because it's been practiced, defined. It is who you are. If you can do that, then you'll find your success and you'll continue to move forward. And I want to encourage everyone that when I think back of the last several weeks and even going into the end of the year, it's so obvious to me that what makes our world so special and the reason why so many individuals have success in our space, it's because we collectively all have a commonality of an idea and we have the ability to be able to push each other forward. And so if you don't have that, come join us, come be a part of our world. It's extremely important that you like, you subscribe, you get involved, you talk, you find friends, you meet up together like we've seen so many people in the community do. But it's that you actually are surrounding yourself with like-minded people who are pushing themselves forward so that you don't have to rely on that motivation, but because it's practiced, it's defined, it's now your habits. So I'm going to turn you loose. I, of course, recommend that you think through every single day of whether or not the habits that you have in place are helping you towards your wins. I highly recommend you track those wins. I highly recommend you prepare and have great ideas of what you want to talk about on Friday when it comes to your 3 wins. I know all of my individual clients, that's what we do. It's very important. If you're meeting with me, if you're talking with me, we are structured, we are guided, we have a lot of fun, we have a lot of wins, and we focus on those wins. So I hope you do the same. And I want to thank you guys, obviously, for listening. Thanks for being a part of our world. Thanks for continuing to spread this and share this with others. And I ask one last thing before we all go, and that is, what can you do this week to be purposeful, to help others, to help them find that firm foundation, to help them navigate life, not like it's a mist, but with purpose and direction, so they're not distracted by the many different noisy elements of this current market, and they stay focused on building true steps every single day so they can one day reach their dreams. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. And obviously we'll take some questions.
Great message, Stephen. Thank you.